All right, guys. I think we're live.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool. So, guys, how are you doing today?
We're good.
Doing good.
Been a great day.
It's a beautiful 32 degrees in sunny Idaho.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's really terrible down here.
Yeah.
I think it's a frigid 80, maybe frigid 76.
I was gonna say it might have even dipped below 80 a bit today.
I think it did. I saw it at 76 at one point.
Yeah. So
That
yeah.
the swivel is real.
I see you guys flexing t-shirts while we're over here.
Yeah, we're freezing down here, so don't worry about it. We feel you. So cool, guys. Well, thank you for coming on and joining us. Appreciate it. Just so that way we can give everybody a little bit of context for the conversation. I'm Chris here with Matt. We've got Ryan joining us in studio, and if you could give us a quick introduction of yourselves, and then also tell us about the Idaho Crypto Group, and I don't know. Let's start there, and we can dive into how you guys got into this. Where this stuff is heading. I don't know. We have a ton of questions for you. We're novices. We know like this much now. We knew nothing, and now we know like this much. So hopefully we can now know this much after the fact. So yeah, give us a quick introduction, and then let's go from there.
All right.
Yeah. We'll have Jesse go first. She's the original founder of Idaho.
Yeah, we'll go on a little timeline of how all things come
All right,
together.
Cool.
yeah.
I'm Jesse Mccusker. I'm the founder of the Idaho Crypto Group. I kind of got started in crypto a little bit by accident, but like many others, I'd heard about it, 10 years ago. In fact, shortly after it come out, I was in the fiber optic industry and communication industry, and had a job and was I don't have the extra money to invest into stuff like that type of scenario. And over time, I was in a situation where I moved into this entrepreneurial mindset and decided to start another company. And then the office building that I was in had, I think it was the first Bitcoin ATM machine here in Idaho, actually. And I saw people using that thing and just stuffing tons of money in it. And the building owner had come up to me and said, "Hey man, you really should be learning about this." I'm like, all right, I'll sit down. And so since that day, I've been pretty well hooked, but not hooked in a way to where like I'm addicted to the space. But once I realized that I had missed this opportunity that I had heard about before, I was like, all right, I got to start building. So
What year was this?
5 years ago.
Okay.
And so the market was still really, really low. I mean, Ethereum was like $2 at that time.
Wow.
I think probably $700 to $900, and then it just skyrocketed. After 2017. But just before it skyrocketed in 2017 is when I kind of put the foot down. There was a lot of people coming to the building that had the Bitcoin ATM machine. They were just asking questions, and there's nobody there, right? It's just an ATM machine, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of put my hat on as customer service because I really understood blockchain from my communications background and data and stuff like that, to where just started talking to guys, and I realized that, oh crap, I'm becoming an educator a little bit. So we put the foot down and started the Idaho Crypto Group, and it was just kind of a bit of a community of guys that kind of got together. And over time, I ended up meeting Ryan actually at a Bitcoin ATM machine. I think it was the second Bitcoin ATM machine in Boise, and then from there, boom, we actually kind of got organized. And go ahead, you can take on the story from there. And that's kind of my start.
My name's Ryan. I was going to Boise State University here in Boise, and I was studying business and finance at the time. And I'd gotten into a little bit of messing around with, stock trading, Forex, that sort of thing. And then I caught wind of crypto. And at first, when I first found out about it and realized, how much more efficient the trading was, how much lower the fees were, and just, how much better all around for the actual user itself. Trading crypto was, that's when I really got, super involved into it. And that would have been 2018, right when I started going to college. And, at the time, Bitcoin was probably around $3,000. But yeah, like Jesse said, I met him at the Bitcoin ATM and kind of went up and talked with him about the group he was putting together, Idaho Crypto Group. And so basically at that point, I had just devoted all my spare time, to helping build Idaho Crypto Group. We started filming, educational YouTube tutorials and that sort of thing. And then I obviously was doing a lot of trading at the time too. But then, yeah, we work on Idaho Crypto Group. We also own Sticker Status, which is where we're at now. It's our vehicle wrap shop. So after about a year of working together, I left college and came here full time. And that was, 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now. So time's kind of flown by, and so is the price of Bitcoin during that time,
Yes, I say so.
Yeah. So, yeah. Cool. And then we met this guy.
About a year ago? No.
Yeah.
At the racetrack, right?
Right about a year ago. So I moved to, well, I shouldn't say I moved to Idaho because I'm not an Idaho resident. I'm actually a Florida resident. I still have property down there. I have a position here with Western Aircraft that I represent those guys. So being here in Idaho is kind of critical to the aircraft side of it. But anyway, so about a year ago, I was driving down the road and I happened to meet Jesse Mccusker. We started talking, and we realized that we had a lot in common as far as the cryptocurrency goes. And then we kind of segmented that into becoming business partners and some other things. And I became a member of the Idaho Crypto Group, so which is really it's just the three of us at this point, right? I mean, and we
in an unorganized fashion.
Yeah,
but we'll talk about some things we're doing to put everything together in a community. But yeah, having everybody together, especially us as kind of the building mindset was really kind of the key as we. It evolves just like the space does, you know what I mean? And in fact, next year on a podcast, there's going to be more of us, as we grow and evolve into the space, I'm sure. So,
but in our initial conversations, this is the first time that I'll ever say this publicly. So I've been in cryptocurrency since about 2011. I had a friend that was going to MIT. He was mining in his dorm room.
Wow.
He was like, "Hey, Alex, this is like the future of money. It's the new gold. Like, you need to jump on this." I look at him. I'm like, "You're going to MIT. You're not a dummy." I have a couple. Thankfully, I had just sold an airplane, so I had a little bit of extra money sitting around. I took that money that was kind of just extra cash that I had on the side and bought about $5,000 worth of Bitcoin in 2011.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
It's amazing. Good for you.
I had to go on tour on the dark web to get it. Super shady dealings. I mean,
it was hard.
The way that I've seen this space grow in the last 10 to 11 years has been absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So, Chris, up until this point, it hasn't been public knowledge that I currently still hold a bag of 675 Bitcoin.
Hell yeah.
That's
I'm
huge,
happy
dude.
for you.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's incredible. It's amazing.
Yeah. Obviously, along the last 10 years, I've acquired bags of other coins to go along with that too,
Sure.
I was like one of the first users on Binance when it first started. And I had a huge bag of that BNB coin that I purchased around $3 to $5 a coin. That's like $400 today. Wow. So that BNB coin alone, unfortunately, like a lot of people that you'll find in this space, they will have held a huge bag at one point and not always necessarily had it when it was at the meteoric top, right? Sure. So like at one point I had 20,000 Bitcoin at one point. I mean, so to only have 675 today, I mean, dude, I wish I still had 20,000 Bitcoin.
But back then it was just a few grand.
But back then it was just a few grand. I mean, literally, my buddy Matt, I sent him Bitcoin for pizza in like 2016 or something. And you hear the story about the other guy the $10 million pizza or whatever. I mean, I just wanted to have some utility for it. I wanted to have some use for it.
Yeah, there was no usability for a lot of years. Yeah.
And I was excited about getting another friend into the space. So I got him set up with a wallet and I'm like, hey, here's, and it cost me more in gas fees. It cost me more in gas fees than I actually sent him in Bitcoin. And I think, recently I was joking with him about, the fact that he's got about $700 in his wallet from a $20 pizza. But
that That's the name of the game, though.
Yeah.
You know, the coolest part about that is there's coins today that are in the same boat. In 5 to 10 years, are going to do the same thing,
right?
You know,
which I'm sure is what you and a lot of your listeners are curious to find out. What is that next coin? What's the Ethereum killer? What's the next Doge? What's
Well, so for me, if I can give like a little perspective of where I'm coming from with some of this stuff, but I want to hear what you've got. I definitely want to know about what's going to be the next thing, but I don't know. I'm trying to get beyond just the like the investing. Like, oh, let me make fast cash. Like, what's going to be the next unicorn thing? I want to know kind of where this space is going, some of the historical trends. So a question I've got for you after you go is going to be around when you got into this in 2011. Like, what were some of the things that made you realize that this was going to be something bigger? Obviously, since you had X amount of thousand Bitcoin and you sold that much, you didn't realize that it was going to this spot. But like, what types of things what gave you the indications? But
that is verbatim is pretty much what I was going to ask. Yeah, what with you guys being such early investors in this, and it always amazes me with people with minds like yourselves that know that this is going to be the next up and coming thing. So yeah, I want to know what early indicators you guys saw to know that, okay, Bitcoin and Ethereum and these other coins and tokens we're gonna take off.
Like anything else, you just have to always be willing to accept some form of risk and just know that anything that you put into it is you're willing to part with it. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's always numero uno, I think, as far as any investing really goes. And this is no form of investment advice. I just want to lay that out there right now. Not financial advice. But there's always going to be risk in every investment. The thing that attracted me initially to Bitcoin was the fact that there was only ever 21 million possible. That was always the original initial thing for me that really drew me to it, because I always saw that, and it is a fact that makes the coin deflationary, and then look at what inflation's doing right now. It is going absolutely insane. Highest inflation rate since 1986 or something. Yeah. I mean, just it's out of control. I was at the supermarket the other day. The shelves were like almost bare. I mean, where the price of food is like a dozen eggs was like $9. I'm like, what's going on over here? Hang on.
You're just crazy, man. That's just all in your head.
Tinfoil hat. I got it up. It's just, but I mean, I don't think I'm saying anything that shocks anybody, which is even more concerning, right? Yeah. That this is almost starting to become not a norm, but it's like, hey, we're not shocked to hear that's happening. Rewind 2 to 3 years ago, I would have been like, dude, take off your tinfoil hat, take it off, but that was the biggest thing though for me, was the 21 million.
So can I jump in there? Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So for that, I've talked to a few different people about this that are somewhat skeptical of that. Can you kind of give just like a little bit of a background of where that comes from? Because I heard it explained today. The best way I've ever heard it was that because it's based in these mathematical equations, it's like physically tied to physical reality, like with computing power and stuff. I don't fully understand what I just said, but maybe if you could give me like a little bit of clarity on that, because I think that answers a lot of people's questions about value and things like that.
Yeah, so let's talk about. I mean, this is the standard question of what gives it value, type of scenario, And let's start with Bitcoin. Obviously, it was the first one. It is kind of the easiest one to dig into because of its supply. So Bitcoin, when the code was written, it was only ever to have 21 million Bitcoin ever, right? So that's the total supply, the maximum supply that could ever be. So when Bitcoin first launched, in order for there to even be one Bitcoin, a computer had to solve a complex math equation in order to unlock that coin. So when it first started, a Bitcoin block, which think of a block as like a train, and there's different cars per train, the computing power goes in and solves these equations, every 10 minutes and then gets a reward for doing so, right? That's called mining. And that validates a transaction and also unlocks more coins. But also there's written in the code that every 4 years on the blockchain after mining, after a specific amount of blocks have been mined, it gets twice as hard. And you get half as many coins for doing that same amount of work. So you're going to do twice as much work. You're going to get half as many coins. So over time, it has a deflationary value set into it to where they're going to get harder to get. There's going to be less of them, right? And so over time, we're in a situation to where it's completely deflationary, to where we may get to a point where, you know, the last Bitcoin may not be mined even in our lifetime unless we come up with some crazy computers that can work extremely fast. So, you know, when Bitcoin first came out, guys were unlocking them very quickly. You know, they were sitting on 20, 50,000, you know, Bitcoin that they mined on their computer because you could back then. It didn't take a lot of computing power.
My buddy was getting like over 100 Bitcoin a day.
Yeah. Like to get 100 Bitcoin a day would be mind blowing. You'd have to have a warehouse at least, you know what I mean? So that also goes into the question of it's becoming inefficient now as well, because it does take so much computing power. So that's what makes other coins more powerful and usable also, because maybe this one has way less power. Right. It's easier to mine possibly, you know, these types of things. So, you know, every blockchain and every coin, that's the first thing you look at. How many coins are there? You know, how many is left to be mined? Is it a mineable coin? Because not all coins are mineable, and it's at the same type of physical computing power versus they're mined a different way. So, but at the end of the day, most all coins that are going to have long-term value have deflationary something set in place with them and a maximum coin supply. So that's the number one thing when you're looking at coins of what's their maximum supply. And it's not unheard of to see a coin with 1 billion token supply or whatever the case may be. What is unheard of is to have governments printing trillions on a monthly basis without a ledger of how much and when and all these different things. So that, to me, to answer the question of why I got into crypto, that was the easiest thing to go, oh, we have a solution against XYZ, and I can be my own bank at that point in time. Plus, I can make these coins without even having to physically go to work, you know, at the end of the day. These become appealing. Plus, you can build into this money system and go as far as you want to, you know, at the end of the day. So,
development on the blockchain is really...
And that's really where we like to strive. And actually, I like to educate more so in that direction versus, you know, guys come up like, hey, what's the next coin to buy? I don't really know, to be honest with you. I know what the next technology is moving into the space that's booming, but there's 10 coins that are involved in that. That's really up to you to go do the research, you know, from a builder mindset, you know, when we have this space to go build into now versus I'm chasing this coin, you know. So these are things to look at, but there's always two sides to get, you know, into this space and to make profit. In fact, there's so many ways to make profit in this space. Just go in with some knowledge, you know. That's the main thing. Because why me and Ryan were building every day, as much as we were building, we were learning every day too, because this market changes so quickly, you know. And it does take a team of people with as much information that's coming out every day. None of us can catch all of it, you know what I mean? So that's why the group is important.
I mean, I didn't get into crypto till, I guess that would have been like almost 4 years after Alex. And so, you know, his probably didn't have as much information back then on what this stuff was, if it was even going to work. Like you said, you had to get on a tour basically to even get this crypto. And now, like we were saying earlier, we've got a Bitcoin ATM in our front office, and I can walk up and put a $20 bill in there and it's in my wallet in 10 seconds. But that's the biggest thing. Like I said, I was trading stocks. Like as soon as I turned 18, I was trying to learn Forex. And there's just so many, I don't know if anyone's ever traded stocks that's listening, but like limits on, well, first of all, it closes 3 p.m. You're done trading for the day. I'm like, dude, I'm working, you know what I mean? I'm a workhorse, and I've always been an entrepreneur. And so I'm like, that was lame. Another thing is like most of the brokerages, unless you're depositing like, you know, 100K, and 18-year-old Ryan didn't have 100K, you could only make like, you know, 2 or 3 trades a day. And then when I found crypto and realized I can literally make as many trades as I want a day, whenever I want, from wherever I want.
Plus it's 24/7.
24/7. And I'm paying like 0.1% fee per trade, which is nothing at all. I can withdraw my money when I want. If you're trading stocks, you want to withdraw your money, you're looking at 3 to 5 business days for it to clear your bank, get the wire and all that. And so, I mean, just like the freedom of being able to control your own money. And I mean, you know, I'm part of the younger generation. I'm 22. So I grew up playing video games, you know, the iPhones. I always want the new technology. And so to me, I'm looking at this 20 years from now, right? Like when debit cards first came out, people were crazy if they were like, what's this internet money that you're going to put on a debit card? Now they're saying the same thing. Now they're saying the same things. What do you mean we're not going to have cash? but again, just with the rate of progression of technology in our world, there's no reason that we're going to stick to, some of these older ways. So for me, I know it's my future of finance and my future of, even gaming and technology, which I'm sure we'll talk about some like NFT stuff. But like with NFTs and video games and actually being able to earn real world value from the time we put into our video games, that's kind of a cool thing too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just, the freedom of the whole industry, as a whole, really.
Okay. All right. So my question is for you, Thrift. What questions have popped up so far?
We've breezed over like 5 or 6 topics that I've had questions for. I'm like, we're gonna put the training wheels back on for this question here.
Yeah.
So obviously, Alex, Jesse, timing is of the essence. Alex, you obviously hit it at one of the best times. Jesse, you said you got in just kind of before a big boom there. I guess for someone who, like myself, for example, I haven't put any time or research into this, which is obviously going against your guys' code here. But for someone like me who really hasn't
time in research.
Pardon?
This is your time in research.
Exactly. This is real world learning right here. But so I guess, is it too late, I guess, for someone like myself to get into this space at all? It seems
That's
like, is that a subjective question? I guess.
No, that's a great question. We literally get that on a regular basis. And the answer is very simple. It's never too late. Just don't cash out and go backwards.
Of course.
We're always buying, on a regular basis. And a lot of it comes down to cost average. So here's a new term for you. Everyone's familiar with on sale, right? The Black Friday crypto is always like that. Just watch the market. It comes on sale on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just one of those things when, if you get into cost average and you're here to build and play, you wouldn't necessarily always go back because, now we're in a space you can do so much with your crypto now versus before. The only thing you could do, when me and Ryan got together, the only thing you could do is trade. That was literally it. You could mine,
right.
But now you can hold, you can pay utilities. So you don't actually have to cash out. Just keep buying more.
To put it in a perspective that people can really kind of relate to. So I would say that crypto, comparing it to the telephone, crypto is basically the car bag phone right now. Okay. So the telephone's been invented. People are making the calls. Now we're progressing to a phone that can be mobile in a car. That's pretty much where crypto's at.
But that's a great analogy too.
The smartphone's right around the corner, right.
But once you bought that first phone, you're always going to have the next progression of phone that's going to come out.
Yep.
Like when I first got in, I held Bitcoin when I don't hold Bitcoin anymore. It's slow. The transactions are a little expensive. It used to be fast, but we've got better options now. You know what I mean? So it's like the progression of the space, no different than the bag phone. That's a great analogy.
Yeah. And Bitcoin's really just become more of a storage of wealth than anything else.
Yeah. Like right? It's like it seems like it's become digital gold basically. And that's kind of so far what I'm able to tell from these conversations and some of the other conversations. It doesn't seem like Bitcoin's going to really be like the transaction currency moving forward. It seems like it's more going to be like digital gold where you just literally park money to get it out of whatever danger it might be in elsewhere.
Right. Like how much utility does a gold bar have? I'm not going to pay you with a gold bar.
Yeah.
But I can
pay me though. I can
I'm sure anybody's willing to take it, right? Yeah. But what I'm saying though is, Bitcoin, basically imagine Bitcoin just being what's sitting in your digital safe. And here's the one piece of advice that I will say that has really saved my hind end as far as still having the crypto bag that I have, because there's been several instances where along the last 10 to 11 years where there's been massive hacks of money taken. Mount Goa was a huge,
Mount
Gox was a huge hack. There was, I bet people are still cashing out from that stole that money.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You got to keep your digital gold on a offline ledger in cold storage.
So this is what Brett was talking about with
hardware
the
wallets.
like a safepal.io type thing, like a hardware wallet, those kind of things. But so wait, so all right, can I ask a question? Like how did these types of hacks come about? Is it just because of like faulty software where people were storing this stuff?
the biggest thing is these people, all the hacks happen in online exchanges. So,
so it was more of like a software issue than it was even like a cryptocurrency issue.
Like an
internet security issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you store your coins on a cold storage wallet, like we're talking about, a ledger, or on a wallet on your phone, it's not on a cloud server. If you're storing your coins on Coinbase, Binance, crypto.com, those sort of places, those are technically exchanges. And in crypto, there's something called private keys. And this is basically a string of numbers and letters that gives you the actual legitimate ownership of your tokens. And when you store your coins on an exchange, you don't actually have access to your private keys. So the exchange is holding your coins. Now, granted, most of these exchanges have security and they have insurance funds where if they do get hacked, people get paid out. But like he was saying, people are still getting paid out from Mt. Gox because if they hack billions of dollars from them, their insurance fund doesn't even have that. So they're just paying them back as they can. Yep. So the biggest thing is make sure you have your private keys by storing it on an actual, either, a cold storage wallet or a mobile wallet. Cold storage is obviously the most secure one because you have to have the actual physical device. But a lot of the responsibility in this space comes down to the user. You've got people that said they bought, X amount of Bitcoin way back when, and then threw their computer away, and they forgot their password, and there's no bank you get to go to and show your driver's license, say, hey, this is me. Can I get my funds back? You're the bank. So,
it's the whole idea behind it, right? Is that you are the central bank.
Yeah, it seems like those are a couple of the main points that I've taken away so far. Those two primary things is you have the full responsibility now for better and for worse, and you got to keep that stuff secure. So the offline wallets seem to be, that's been consistent across
everyone
3 or 4 different people that we've talked to about.
So let me ask you guys as well, we're on the wallet topic. So I know there's different platforms or different places you can go to get to get cryptocurrencies. As far as like Coinbase, you get your Coinbase wallet. Now, can you have your money on your Coinbase wallet, like on your phone, and then also use that hardware token? Or do you have to take it off of that wallet and transfer it into?
Yeah, you'd have to have it on one or the other.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be like you would buy your Bitcoin or whatever on Coinbase from your bank account, and you move it from Coinbase to your actual cold storage wallet or your phone wallet or something like that, out of the exchange itself. It's no different than like if you have your cash at the bank in a safe deposit box versus it's at your house in your possession, because if they lock the door and you can't get in or the building burns down, you're insured. But there is this whole scenario that, not your keys, not your funds. It's kind of the
of course. Term. Yeah.
Okay.
But what's nice about crypto is it's really easy to move funds. So obviously if you're wanting to be a day trader or whatever, or whatever you're doing, want to buy an NFT, you can take your coins from your wallet very easily, send them to the exchange, do your trading. And then the biggest thing is you don't want to be storing them on, exchanges.
Of course.
Yeah. Buy them and pull them off. There's a large segment of people right now that are using crypto.com because it stakes. You can stake coins. Like you can put Bitcoin in there and earn 5.5 or 4.5% for a 3-month lockup. It's basically like a CD for Bitcoin. Yeah. They have like, I think 20 or 30 other coins on crypto.com that you can earn interest, some of them as high as 10%, like on Polygon.
Wow.
Which is great, because like where else are you going to get a consistent 10% return on your money?
No.
Plus something that's deflationary, so that you're going to get a rising cost in the coin on top of that. Right. So, but you're running a risk in doing that. And I'm not saying anything negative about crypto.com, because crypto.com's FDIC.
Well, that's just staking in general. Staking is not advisable most of the time, unless you're extremely educated in crypto.
Yep.
So he's kind of talking about a gray area, but crypto.com gives you these tools, versus just being able to have that ability to where your coins are just sitting in a place, or where, you can do stuff with your coins also too. Instead of while they're just sitting there, you can participate in DAOs, which gives you voting power, and things like that. So there are things you can do with your coins while you're just holding them. Just make sure you know exactly what you're getting into. Staking, for sure. It can be a really great thing, but if you're staking the wrong coin and the coin completely drops, you could actually lose a lot more than you actually win. But these are also great tools to where everything, like I said, everything else in the space, same thing. You could do extremely well or not good at all just by making a bad choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if If you lock up your coins in a 1 or a 3 month lockup, you lose liquidity. And then, that's basically the whole idea of us having them in the first place, is that you want to be able to have liquidity, right? So
for some, though, it could be a long-term plan,
right?
You know what I mean? So everyone has a different strategy too.
Right.
That the space is kind of different that way, to where 30 different strategies could be taken in the space with a different result. True. Because you have a different game plan too. You know what I mean?
True.
In fact, I think from what I've found, there's not a single individual that has just like a thumbprint that has the exact same strategy as another individual, because it's all about where you are with your goals in life personally, your knowledge of what you've been doing, how long you've been doing specific things, and that's what's the really neat part about us even together, is we all do have different individual goals. We all have these different spaces of knowledge and come together with these different areas. And it's really fun, especially being in the space with, the open-minded people in the crypto space, that these conversations that we have are a lot different than you would probably in any other industry, because you have a lot of different ways of doing things and thinking in a financial motivated goal as well, so it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's like a decentralized approach to trying to figure out roughly the same thing, but it has a bunch of different flavors. It's pretty unique. This is going to sound strange, but this almost feels like being in like a music scene or something like that, where there's a bunch of different people doing all kinds of different shit, but they're still making music and people are still playing shows.
Yeah.
This is just like, all right, well, I'm in this for storing wealth somewhere, and then other people are looking at these new technologies. Like Avalanche is very interesting to me because apparently it's super fast, and it also has that kind of fixed amount of coins. So the internet tells me. I can't validate that, but this is just the stuff I'm reading. But I guess my question is kind of moving from this, like, where is some of this stuff evolved to now? And then maybe from there we can get into where this stuff is going. Because you guys are even doing a marketing package for NFTs. Like, where is some of this stuff now that maybe people might have heard of but have no idea what it is? Like, people just think of this as like, oh, you trade Dogecoin and you make a bunch of money or you lose a bunch of money, but there's a ton of other stuff going on. So my 40-minute long question is, what are people doing now that people might not even know about?
Well, before we go down that rabbit hole, I just want to say that you can always view every transaction in the Block Explorer. So like you said that you weren't sure about the supply of Avalanche and all that stuff, like you can always see all that stuff on the Block Explorers.
It's everything in the crypto space is a public ledger.
Like if I were to send Matt or Ryan Bitcoin right now, Chris, you could go on the Block Explorer and see that transaction.
Right. And I'd be like, dude, I set this up. You got to send me the Bitcoin. No, but okay, I see what you're saying. So it's like it's all an open system, so you can validate even that future amount based on what's in the ledger currently.
And the blockchain is continuously confirming those transactions.
Sure.
So you can't go back in the ledger and make a change, because it might, like, I could go back and look at transactions that I did in 2012 and they're still confirming.
Yep.
They'll never stop confirming.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
And the confirmations are happening by the mines. That's another part of the mining. Besides just mining coins, they're also confirming transactions. That's why it's a decentralized ledger. All these different computers throughout the entire world are all confirming and double checking each other, and that's how you can't really fraud the blockchain, because it's a distributed ledger.
And that's why that algorithm keeps getting more and more complex, because all that is in there to be resolved.
So here's another quick tool for anybody that's watching, and even for you guys as well, because you were mentioning about Avalanche token supply, these types of things. So I use a tool, and there's a few of them out there, but I definitely like this one. One of the best is coinmarketcap.com.
Oh, Neil talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a place you can basically go in. I kind of think it's like the crypto library. Like, all the coins are in there. You can type in the search bar. If somebody mentions, well, hey, have you heard about so-and-so? That's the first place I go look. What's the coin supply? You just click on the coin, It'll tell you coin supply, the price. It'll even, like, I'll go click on the website that's up there. Just go find out all a little bit of information about that coin. Look at the white paper. The white paper is the roadmap of what this project is, because every project's always in its infant stage at some point. You know what I mean? So, those could be good opportunities, or maybe this project isn't good for me, that type of thing. So CoinMarketCap is definitely a great place for anybody that's getting started. Even first thing in the morning, I look at CoinMarketCap to see what's up and what's down. You know what I mean? Plus, if you use the phone app, there's some stuff. If you scroll down at the bottom, you're going to get up-to-date news in the crypto space within the last hour to 6 hours of exactly what's happening now. And a lot of times that stuff actually corresponds to the price of what's happening in the market too. So that's actually a tool, So there's a few good tools out there for those that are getting started. TradingView is another one as well, especially if you're into stock trading.
Yeah.
You can just click over from stocks to crypto. You've got a lot of good charts there, that type of thing.
What is that one called?
TradingView.
TradingView.com.
TradingView. Okay, got it. Yeah, we'll link to some of this stuff in the show notes too. That way people can find it easy. But I know you guys have the Idaho Crypto Group YouTube, and you teach people about a lot of this stuff. Are these some of the things that you guys cover in there?
Yeah, we have a lot of videos on there, like just how, like when you open up Exchange, you see the candlestick charts. We have videos explaining how to read the candlestick charts, how to, navigate around exchanges. We have a few different videos just showing people how to set wallets up. And that's all of what we do here. Like Alex said earlier, we're not financial advisors. When people come in and say, what coin do I buy? Can't answer that question. But you want me to help you set up a wallet and show you some of the coins and how they're performing and why they're performing this way? We can do that. So, Yeah, our YouTube's just a lot of just basic educational stuff, because a lot of these guys using the Bitcoin ATM, they just picked up their first smartphone. And so they're
buying Bitcoin.
They might actually be ahead of the curve, though. If this is their first smartphone, but they're buying Bitcoin,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But also they get a little stuck too, at the end of the day. Like, nobody's you can't stop them from buying it, but they're going to get stuck. Or, there's other situations. Another thing that me and Ryan spend a lot of time doing. And in fact, this is kind of, I don't like to use buyer beware, but there are many folks that do get involved. 6 months down the road, they realize they've made some major mistakes. Their grandsons helped them, and now their coins are gone. So we do help with a lot of consulting in a way that, just helping folks try to figure out if they've lost coins, what to do. Maybe I've lost my seed word. So there's a lot of things like that. We also see older folks getting taken advantage of.
Sure,
a lot.
Of course.
That's a big deal right now too, as well as.
We've literally had the FBI come in here and ask for our help with trying to get these scams and frauds to stop of these elderly people that believe that they're sending money to somebody they're helping or whatever.
All they've got's a wallet address. They don't have any information, and the FBI guys have no idea what they're looking at.
Well, and the sad part is, they gave us a pamphlet with a phone number to call, but at the end of the day, 99% of the time, the funds were taken from somebody in a different country. And you're probably never going to get them back. This isn't like regular U.S. dollars. You know what I mean? And so these guys are going after banks because they know they're going to get in trouble. You know what I mean? Or big exchanges, they're going to get in trouble. So in this situation, like if you have lots and lots of people getting scammed for $1,000, how much, and it's extreme amount of work to track this stuff back with zero names involved. It became kind of a honeypot for a lot of people. So it's important to keep that in mind. Also, too, another thing that's happening, I'm seeing a lot more of, is people sending links to your phone, especially if you have a wallet on your phone, links that you shouldn't be clicking on, or somebody random sending you a link. Like, now is not the time to click on links if you do not know who they are.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So you guys are seeing a lot of this stuff going. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this kind of comes back to it is the risks of the personal sovereignty piece of all of this. Is you gotta don't go into this willy-nilly. If you're good with, I'm making this up, so I'm not putting these words in your mouth, but basically, like, if you've got a few $100 or $1,000 and you want to go on Coinbase, have at it. You're probably going to be fine. It's whatever. But if you're going to start moving around like bigger sums of money or really diving into this, the message is basically get schooled up, know the technology, know how it works, know how the transactions work, and protect yourself that way. It's basically learn as much as you can to protect yourself.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, also, there's also this inherent, we tend to get greedy because everyone's making profit here.
Sure.
I like the idea of, if no different, if you were going to try any sport or hobby, you know what I mean? Go try it out. Maybe go rent something first, put $100 in first, learn how to play it. Like the fastest way to learn how to play poker at a casino is put money in, because you can learn about it all day on a computer, you know what I mean? But go ahead and put $100 in and just see what happens, get familiar, you know what I mean? Then when you get a little more comfortable, put a few $100 in, and at first, until you're really comfortable, never put in more than you're willing to lose.
Yep.
It's the same concept, because you have less knowledge in the beginning versus, money that you could put in. So it's important to balance that out. And as you feel comfortable, feel free to, open up of what you're doing. Because I do see a lot of people get snagged where they just throw a big lump sum in there. All of a sudden they get snagged up, or there's an issue. That's a lot of money to be left with without having any knowledge of what to do or where to go. And there's a lot of people out there that have wallets sitting doing nothing because they're stuck.
Yeah.
Don't know what to do.
Yeah. Gotcha. And that's kind of been the other advice I've gotten is take a little bit, move it around, and see where you get stuck. That way, if you lose $20 because you messed up, you're not losing $10,000.
Oh,
but
geez.
Thrift, what do you got?
Yeah, I've got another beginner question that's going to take the conversation back to, I guess, a payphone now. So you'd mentioned that the finite number of Bitcoin at 21 million is kind of what attracted you to that coin initially. Obviously, scarcity creates demand. Is that the case with all cryptos and all coins? Is there a finite number of each one of these, or is it an unknown until it's known?
No, so I don't know if one of you guys want to take this one.
Yeah,
Or
go ahead, Ryan.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's no. So the answer is no. They're not all finite. I mean, some coins are coded to where the supply can be adjusted. I mean, you'll hear a lot of coins. They do coin burns, basically just trying to equalize their economy. So no, I mean, like you were saying earlier, Bitcoin's like modern day gold. Like Alex was saying, you don't go to the grocery store and pay with a chunk of gold, but it holds value because it's rare. Like you said, scarcity creates demand. But Bitcoin was specifically coded to only have 20 million in that case. I mean, there's some that have millions and millions.
Well,
there's
there's
also
unlimited supply coin, Dogecoin.
Right.
Perfect example, unlimited supply.
But there's also scenarios like this. So remember when Ethereum first kind of came out, there was a lot of people that were confused about its total supply. On a lot of sites, it said unlimited for this reason only, was the fact that Ethereum is a blockchain,
Right.
but you can create your own token off of that blockchain, which is, you have a coin and then you have a token that's built off that chain.
Mm-hmm.
Those can go ahead. There's a lot of coins that are built off of Ethereum's blockchain that everybody knows about that are top coins right now.
Mm-hmm.
And those have their own value and their own supply. So it's difficult to quantify total supply when you literally have tokens built off of that specific blockchain on top of that as well. So, and like these guys said, there's burns and there's all sorts of other things that happen as well.
Thrift, are you good if I ask a question to follow that up? It might take us into the weeds, but so with stuff like that, right? So you've got, let's just take Ethereum, for example. You have Ethereum, and then you have like ETH is a coin on Ethereum. I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah, that is the ETH coin.
Yep.
Okay, but so you guys are saying that in addition to the ETH coin, there are other coins that you can build on top of that blockchain, or is it tokens? And what is the difference?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, coin is the native chain itself.
Okay.
So that would be considered a coin, and then a token is basically built off of that chain. So, for example, like what's a Polygon.
Yeah.
Polygon's built, it uses the Ethereum blockchain, but Polygon is its own separate economy.
Yep.
It's its own thing, but it uses the Ethereum blockchain for its transactions.
Yep.
So for example, if I was going to send Alex some Polygon out of my wallet, I need to have some Ethereum in there to pay for the gas fee
To send it.
because it uses that blockchain.
Yep.
So there's lots of other blockchains out there.
Right. You could think of it as like different cell phones on different network providers.
Yeah, there you
like
go.
Sprint versus AT&T or whatever. They're using the same technology to communicate and process the transactions, but it's a different company. It's a different coin with different sets of goals and values and that sort of thing.
Right. And why one may choose one blockchain over another to create a token. Like, for example, you guys could create your own podcast token on the Ethereum blockchain type of scenario, versus why would you choose Ethereum over another blockchain? It may just have to do with the functionality of what you're going to be using it for. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So you get to decide that, you know what I mean? So,
And at the end of the day too, I don't know if we want to go down this rabbit hole, but Ethereum is definitely in a little bit of trouble for sure.
A little bit,
You
possibly.
know,
Yeah.
possibly.
Gas fees are extremely high.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the highest gas fees out of any coin right now.
So I hear gas fees all the time. Like, I'm sure you've heard some of that stuff as we're talking about this. So like, people say it's extremely high. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean in context?
Well, Ethereum is proof of work currently, which means that for every transaction, there's miners that have to resolve it, right? And the fees that Ethereum currently pays those miners to do those transactions, just compared to like a Tron, for example. I don't know if you guys know about Tron, but Tron is one of the two ecosystems that Vitalik Buterin, who is the founder of Ethereum, recently said Binance Chain and Tron are the two possible Ethereum killers. Like, he has labeled them as the Ethereum killers. So
and some of that has to do with the fact that, gas fees, think about, we were talking about the blocks in a blockchain, like as a train car. Ethereum is being so used now for so many things, including DeFi and decentralized XYZ and all these things, that the blocks are getting so full that they can't move transactions quick enough. So the only thing they can do is jack the price up, so the miners are doing more work. So we're at a situation to where Ethereum, unless they make some changes, which they're supposed to be doing soon, is at its max capacity almost at this point. In fact, what it's also doing is a lot of the NFT marketplace is running on the Ethereum blockchain, and quite frankly, it's slowing the market down.
Which is why you see Solana and you mentioned Avalanche, but Solana seems to be primed to kind of play in that
They're
NFT,
filling in that gap where Ethereum's slowing down
NFT
on the
market.
NFT market.
Tron's launching a bunch of NFT stuff as well. Tron's gas fees are basically non-existent.
They don't even have any gas fees.
It's not a gas fee. It's like a Tron fee for using the network, but it's like nothing.
And is that because of a fundamental difference in the way that they validate? So there's like proof of work, right? That's Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then I know Solana's proof of stake. I don't know what that means, but I know that it is. So what is the difference there?
Well, with Tron's an interesting cat because Tron actually started on the Ethereum blockchain. So Tron was a token off of Ethereum. And then they actually branched and offer their own and built their own blockchain. So, but what they did is, and in fact, what they did is they're like, hey, Ethereum isn't going to do what we need it to do. It's not fast enough. So they built their own blockchain that's way faster, way cheaper, and you can fit more transactions per block.
10,000 per second or something.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's really high.
Something ridiculously high. So in that case, right, you've got a oh, sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
No, I was just adjusting.
Oh, sorry. So with something like that, right? So where I'm trying to get the logic of is these guys are on the Ethereum network. These prices are getting too high or it's getting too slow for them to achieve the things they're trying to achieve. What are those things that they're trying to achieve? I think that's where the gap is for a lot of people is, for me, I don't know about you guys, but like, what is the thing that they're trying to achieve, and what does blockchain? How does blockchain let them achieve those goals?
Well, that's a tough question because
there's a lot of different things.
Yeah, well, at the end, here's the thing. Any type of crypto platform, what they were, a lot of times what they were trying to achieve in the beginning has changed a lot. Because when I got into Tron 4 years ago, they were trying to achieve a faster blockchain. Cheaper transactions, because Tron, you can send a transaction for 0.1 cent of a Tron, no matter how much the money is. 0.1 cent of a Tron. Tron's 10 cents or something like that today. So for a penny, you can send $1 billion for 1 penny kind of scenario. So that was kind of their number one goal. But now, as time's rolled on, Tron has now turned into its own DAO. Justin Sun, the founder, has stepped down as running the place to where it's now a DAO. So it runs itself as a decentralized autonomous organization. So over time, it's changed and grown with what the blockchain has done. So the blockchain and crypto is not something you should ever walk away from if you're involved or invested into for any amount of time at all. I'm not saying you need to be like on top of it all day, every day. But if you take a 3 month, hey, I haven't looked at my coins in 3 months, you've made a mistake. You've made a mistake because you maybe should have sold out of those coins because something happened with that project that you should have gotten out of, or there is some things that you just kind of keep your foot on the gas a little bit, and pay attention. You don't necessarily have to, think like a day trader, but don't just, that's why there's a guy out there looking in the dump for a computer full of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I heard about that.
All the blockchain, all the companies are just, like you said, achieve more efficient, less expensive and faster.
Better way of solving problems.
Yeah, money transfer systems. And even beyond that, like you were saying earlier, it's beyond investing and trading. We've got metaverses now, decentralized. It's not so much about cryptocurrency, but about blockchain technology. For example, on the decentralized land now, you get a shirt or you get a sword in the video game. In the past on a video game, once you're done playing that game, there's nothing you can do with it. But now the sword itself is actually an NFT, a non-fungible token, where they could take that sword that they earned in this game and go sell it on the marketplace or trade it with someone else. And those each item in the video game is its own token, if you will, where it's got its own private key, proof of ownership, and that sort of thing. So you ask, where it's at now and what it could be in the future. Things that are faked, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, stuff like that. If each Gucci bag had a little QR on the purse, you scan it, it pulls up the actual NFT and shows the private key. That's a legit Louis bag. Yeah. And they couldn't go and Louis could say, hey, we've only made 2,500 of these purses. Yep. Each one is this code. So that it'd be a really easy way to stop fraud like that. And other things like house and car titles. There's no reason to do all this paperwork, man. It's all, you just put it in an NFT contract, make the contract happen, and it's done like that.
Okay, so that's go ahead.
I was going to say, so it seems like these NFTs and the way you're describing them are almost proof of existence, proof of one legitimacy behind it.
It could be tickets to an event. They could be so many things. They're basically a smart contract with, like, that's a utility knife or like a Swiss Army knife. You can do lots of different things with them. Whether you're playing with them, they're designed for, a money transfer scenario, or say, even with an NFT, it could even be done as a, you can use them in a business situation.
It could be a marketing plan.
Well, so that's what you guys, you guys are doing you have an NFT on OpenSea right now. I want to ask you about that because I don't think you guys even know about that. A little surprise for you.
Just a little surprise, yeah.
So can you guys talk about that? Because I think that may give people some context about what you can do with this. You're talking about houses and titles, but this is different than I've heard.
So, quick question: which one specifically? Because now we have a whole bunch of stuff we're working in the NFT space now.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think the marketing package one.
Yeah, we'll go OG with the OG.
Oh, the Dogecoin one?
Daytona Doge.
Yeah.
So backstory here on this real quick. So that
was our first one, by the way. So let's start with that.
That's why I call it the OG.
Yeah.
It's the OG Doji, right? So I'm a race car driver. I have an FIA Class C Pro race car license, and that's one of the other things that connected Jesse and I and Ryan together was the racing side of things. I actually walked in here looking to get a helmet wrapped for a race I had at Mid-Ohio, and we just
now look at you.
Yeah, now look at me. Yeah. Where was I going with that?
The NFT project,
Daytona Doge. So I had a race, a WRL race. It was the 16 hours to Daytona. And we proof of concept came up with this idea to do Daytona Doge, which was a Dogecoin wrap on the hood of the BMW. But behind the wrap, quote unquote, was a full-blown marketing plan for any company or individual who wants to be involved in professional racing. So let's say, hopefully they're listening, Pepsi. Let's say they decided that they wanted to, come on board and have Alex Almonte represent them at the racetrack. That'd be fantastic. I would love that, Pepsi. Todd Kaplan, who's the marketing at Pepsi, if you're listening, I'd love for your sponsorship. Anyway,
Todd, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Come on, Todd.
So anyway, this marketing plan, if a company purchases it, it includes a whole package that is for your for clients to come out and have a unique experience at the track. It includes ride-alongs in the race car, VIP hospitality trackside, the most amazing filet mignon you'll ever eat, top shelf alcohol, basically whatever you want. And you get to hang out during a 16 or a 24-hour race. You're down in the garages, you're hanging out with the team. If you're Pepsi and you're trying to sell more of your Pepsi to Maverick gas stations, we can make that happen for you. You know what I mean? Like, we can make B2B happen.
Conceptually with an NFT, there's a lot of things that can be done that way. You know what I mean? From that standpoint, at the end of the day, it really kind of came back to this idea of the fact that, so NFTs up until from what I've seen are all just digital. They were in fact, at that time when we did do that, there was just basically artwork. NFTs, right? So okay, how do we take some cool artwork and put it on a race car type scenario? So sticker status, the company are like, listen, let's go with Alex. Let's go put this thing on a race car. Let's see if we can build some interest and things like that, in a way that from a marketing standpoint, we could work with lots of different NFT holders that have, Bored Ape Yacht Club. I mean, some of those are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The key to sometimes in with your NFTs as well, you got to be able to market them and out. So there's a lot of different things you can utilize, these with race cars as well. But our specific one we put up there. And by the way, let me add this to it as well. It's not for sale yet. And I'll tell you why. Because it's $800 in gas fees for me to list it up for sale.
Right.
So just to list it?
The NFT?
It's not listed. It's created. It's minted. And somebody could actually put an offer in on it.
Yeah, you can.
But in order for me to put it on the marketplace, is about $750 to $800 in gas fees, and that's only for 6 months. Then the listing goes down. So if I don't sell it, I'm out $800. So it's one of those things.
This is where these gas fees come in.
Yeah.
That was the first step that we learned when we tried to create our first NFT. It was like, oh shoot, we created it on the Ethereum blockchain, and now we're kind of stuck unless we want to pay the money. So now there's a lot of other coins that you can create your NFT on OpenSea, say like on Polycoin. There's no fee to list it. There's no gas fees or anything like that. So now we do have a way where that can be done. But like I said, it's a contract that was created as an NFT. I can't change it.
Right.
Once you create the contract on the Ethereum blockchain, it can't be changed. So we'll get it listed.
Got it. So
at some point, but
with this thing, it's like the gas fees kind of became a problem when the value of Ethereum went way up, because maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago when Ethereum was much lower, I mean, to list that, it might have been a few dollars or $10-15 to list it. And now with it at like 40 something $100, you're looking at a different ball game.
Well, think about it like this too, Chris, right? I mean, 4 years ago, a lot of people weren't really using that much Ethereum. And now today they're using the snot out of it, which is why it's $3,500 or $3,800 right now. And why it was, $400 or $40 in years past.
Well, and it's quite usable. I mean, it's being used for DeFi all the way down to metaverses to, all these things. It's a quite usable coin, and, for good reason, what I mean? So, but that's the other thing too, is anticipating long-term growth in the space. So whoever invested in Ethereum before, maybe it's not necessarily a good buy now, because there's other things that are looking better to fill in that solution as this ever evolving situation. Because like I said at the beginning of all this, as soon as you create something, it's now set in stone. It can't be changed or deleted in most cases. So once you start a project, you either have to evolve or walk away and abandon, and nobody wants to walk away and abandon a project.
And you develop one of these coins or tokens with keystrokes on a keyboard, right? I mean, you can develop one in a matter of a night, or some take weeks, some take months. But I mean, this space moves extremely fast.
Right.
You got millions of people sitting at home on their computers figuring out how they're going to make the next coin or whatever. I mean, it's starting to get out of control. I mean, we see some of like what I'll call them crap coins for your podcast, but it starts with an S of what I really call them. So, I mean, it's just, and there's basically one wallet that holds the majority of the bag of all those coins too. It must be the person that creates the majority of these crap tokens. But in order to be able to push those tokens, they have to have marketing plans behind them, which is what we saw with that Daytona Doge thing too. And that's 95% of what you do as a race car driver is market your sponsors on your hood of your car, right? If you can't win the race, crash the car so you're on TV, right? Like,
well, so actually one thing, maybe after this, the next day or two, I'll connect you guys up with the two guys that we had on the podcast last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was, Neil and Brett. But they're actually, they've been in the tech space for a while, but they started up like an NFT marketing company. So I don't know. It may be helpful just to talk to them. I can make that connection for you guys, but they have it's from what I can tell, they have a very similar outlook on this stuff that you guys have. And, it's very cool. They're very interested in teaching people about this stuff, which is kind of what I pick up from you guys too. So I think,
Awesome. I love that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that might be good. So Matt, what questions have popped up for you so far?
So I'm just curious about your guys' opinion. You're obviously very well versed in all this. In the future, where do we go with all this? Does crypto replace the U.S. dollar? Does it supplement it? What do you guys? What are your views on the next 5, 10, 30 years from now with crypto?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it already has replaced the U.S. dollar. Just everybody hasn't switched yet.
they haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that mean to you guys? Can you elaborate on that?
I mean, in simple form, I feel like it gives, for me, it means freedom, in a way that, you can, like with a $1 US deal, I could maybe do like some origami, with it. And I could give it to somebody, right, for exchange of goods. But like with coins, you can do so much more with them. You now, with your coins, you're now part of a community and different things. You have voting power, these types of things, to where you can do so much more in a way that allows things to happen faster and more efficient, which saves time, which at the end of the day probably leads to more money at the end of the day,
Thrift, what do you got? What questions you got?
I mean,
is your head just bouncing around?
a little bit. So but coming into this, I, again, didn't do any research or have no prior knowledge. Every time I saw an NFT on Twitter or something like that, I was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting piece of artwork. And I was curious as to where the value comes from. But from listening to this conversation, it sounds like that artwork is almost a placard or a holding spot. There's a token behind that. There's the mathematical equation behind that holds the value, correct? More or less?
That's the cover of the book. It's the cover of the book.
But also behind that itself, it has cool artwork, but that's also a ticket into a specific event. It now allows you to be a part of a specific group. You know what I mean? There's casinos in the metaverse that you can only gamble in if you own one of their NFTs that cost $2,000. You know what I mean, kind of scenario. But by doing so, you now get part of the casino odds, and there's all these different things with that NFT because, like I said, you can program anything into the contract itself. So the image is just an image at the end of the day.
And it doesn't even have to. Some like Tory Lanez, musical artist, he just sold his recent album as NFT copies, where he only sold X amount of them that were purchased also got to come out and like hang out with him.
Yep.
So it doesn't have to be artwork. It can be an MP3 file. It can be an item. It's just the NFT, the smart contract behind the NFT is like you said, the mathematical equation that shows that this transaction was legitimate and both owners
Well, and here's the other genius part too, is creating usability. Because like what Ryan just said, one of the smartest things that somebody could do with their album or whatever is create a limited supply. Anytime you launch an NFT, you get to decide your royalty payout. So every time that thing is sold, you get a piece of that pie every time it's sold. So the object of the game when you create an NFT is to create something that a lot of people want, they want to buy and sell in a long-term fashion, is something that's going to go up in value. You know what I mean? And in order to do that, you created a limited supply.
Yep.
These types of things. And so there's strategy behind, putting up an NFT. Because I've had a lot of people go, oh man, my daughter makes really cool artwork, and she has this really cool photo she did in high school. It'd be really awesome to make it an NFT. I'm like, that would be awesome.
Right.
But that's all you would have is just an NFT. That's
Yeah.
it, which is cool. Like, I recommend go do it. Like, actually go, like our first one, we just had to go put something up there so I could learn the process of all the things that are involved. And even that's changed now in the last 8 months, but
with generators and everything else.
Yeah.
Too.
And, being able to add things different onto your, when you do post your NFT, there's a lot more things you can do now. So it's just one of those things that, it's evolving, and, just because it's a good idea, that doesn't mean it may work, but in this space, try it. Go, especially from a building standpoint, if like, let me go try to create one, do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Go try, you'll learn something.
And Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example, like I use that one because it's one of the most popular ones as of right now. That owning one of those Bored Apes allows you access into the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is in the Decentraland metaverse. Right. So like, I don't know what goes on in there because I don't have a $300,000 Bored Ape.
Yeah.
Right. There'd be some pretty cool stuff going on in there.
Yeah, and they also have like their website that you can only get to certain pages unless, because your wallet that you set up on a lot of these websites is actually connected onto the website on your browser. So if they don't see an NFT in your wallet, you're not getting into that page. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like your key.
So what Jesse is referencing is actually something that I've, in the last probably 3 months, started kind of taking a look at. He's pretty heavy into the MetaMask that you run. It's basically a hot wallet that you run when you're in the Decentraland or with any other website that connects to the MetaMask.
Yeah, MetaMask is just its own wallet. In fact, it's been around for longer than any of the wallets that I actually have, that I've known. It's been around a long time.
But you can go into Decentraland, create a character, connect your MetaMask, and you can walk into some of these art studios that are in the metaverse, and you can purchase an NFT right there off the wall of a person's artwork.
Blows my mind.
And once you purchase that art, you can literally turn around and put it back up for sale again right then and there.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
right?
For more money.
For more money.
Yeah.
And we talk about obscure ways to make money. There are extreme obscure ways to make money in cryptocurrency, especially in the metaverse. And now you got companies like Sony and Nike and Samsung and all these other companies that are buying property in Decentraland, which, speaking of rarity, only has 90,000 land.
Yeah, 90,000 squares.
The 90,000 squares, right?
Yeah,
some of those squares going for upwards of $5,000 at this point.
No. The cheapest is 15.
I mean, 15 grand for one square.
Holy
of
shit!
Okay.
Yeah, they were 900 like a year ago.
Yeah, you take your Oculus, and you walk into the metaverse. No, but it's coming.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's definitely that stuff's definitely coming.
You don't have to go to the mall. You pop on, and guess what, guys? Like if you want to play in that sandbox, I shouldn't use sandbox because that's a different metaverse. If you want to play in Decentraland, you're going to have to own a piece of that real estate at whatever price. If you want to build, if you're Samsung or Sony or one of these companies that wants to have an art gallery or sell cell phones or who the heck knows, whatever. You're going to have to either buy or rent land. I think that's the next thing coming is you're going to be a landlord of the Decentraland and people are going to be renting land from you.
Yep. In fact, you could rent. I've already been looking at it because I'm not really wanting to spend 15 grand to put a little school in there if I had a crypto. $100 a month, no problem.
And ultimately, we really need 4 squares to be able to do anything with it. I mean, to build the actual store, to do the things that we want to do, we need 4 squares. So we're looking at, a $60,000 investment, and that's if you can get 4 squares next to each other at this point.
Yeah, you can.
So it's like, I know, but
it's just getting expensive to play. And this goes back to like that number one thing, like how do I make the most, profit in crypto, or how do I do the best in the blockchain? It's just about timing a lot of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, find it early before it becomes something. Mm-hmm. Invest in it when it's like real low, and then hope it blows up. But I mean, you can kind of like look at some of these things, and that's what looking at these white papers that I've started doing is giving me the faintest clue, like of where some of this stuff can go. But I'm trying to read some of these things and see what comes up versus just like throw money into the wind, which it can all be that in a way, but let me put my finger into the into the air first before I throw
On
it
reading
in.
those white papers are going to help guide you a little bit, you know what I mean, in the wind versus not knowing what project to invest into. Plus, you know, I've learned a lot reading white papers going, oh, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
You know, kind of scenario.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. That sounds like a cool concept, you know, that type of thing to where, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the real race is, you know, or you ask yourself the question, is it actually a necessary solution? In fact, some things in this space are a solution to a problem we didn't even know we had.
Yeah.
True. So,
Well, what? Wow. All right, I feel like I've learned a ton in a very short period of time. So before I kind of ask some of the final questions, what do you guys have? What's coming to mind?
Off the top of my head, just the Decentraland, I found out about this a few months ago, and it's still just, I can't wrap my head around it. But if you think about this, and I want to hear your guys' opinion, if you say you want to invest in real estate in our world, the human world, right, you're going to go buy something minimum $100,000. So it almost seems like, all right, what's $15,000 to buy this parcel of land? And like you said, the scarcity with demand and everything, eventually, the way things are going, somebody's going to need that piece of land. So it almost seems like, hey, maybe this is a better route to go with investing my money,
right?
You know, into that. How do you guys feel about that? Like versus, you know, investing in houses in the real world and land, and then versus investing in this plot of land that's virtual.
Well, think about it from this standpoint. The bank's biggest product is the houses.
Yeah, right? Correct. Yeah.
If you're investing in the houses, you're investing into a bank product.
Yeah.
Moving into the blockchain, it's the same type of concept. Yeah, it seems ludicrous to spend $15,000 for something that you literally physically can't ever walk on. Right? But you can build something on that thing that can generate way more than that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, yeah, we just have to shift our mindset. But yeah, they are both fruit, and one, they're just a little bit different. You know what I mean? It just depends upon where you want to move forward with. Because I can tell you the housing market is in rough shape. Mm-hmm. You know, it's overinflated.
Oh, man.
And $15,000 a square is not overinflated right now. I promise you that. Because some of them are selling for a lot more. It just depends upon where it's located. You know what I mean? So.
In fact, I'm glad that this is recorded and going to be on YouTube because we can look back at this a year, 2 years, 5 years, and be like, "Oh my God, why did he not buy all of it?" Or we can be like, "Man, he was paying $15,000. He lost his rear end on that." You know?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it seems like the first is the more likely scenario. Even though it's blowing my mind, it seems like that will probably be. Hello, future self. You should have bought a plot, you fucking idiot.
Like, you know, Decentraland's native coin, Mana or whatever, like I bought some of that like a year and a half ago or whatever. Like I never looked into actually what the concept is cool, right? My first actual time feet on the ground in Decentraland was 3 weeks ago. Like I've known about the metaverse. I've watched all sorts of cool stuff about it. I just didn't have time in my schedule at that time to really go in and investigate until Facebook decided to call themselves Meta now. I'm like, wait a second. These were the first guys here. Let's go see what they've built. And since I've been in there the last 3 weeks, every single day it's growing. It's going fast. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, wow, okay. You know, this is definitely a great place to start. And you can learn a lot in there, even if you're a beginner. In fact, I meet people in there because you can chat with people and stuff like that literally know nothing about crypto. It's just a new video game.
Yeah, I don't see people adopting Facebook's Meta. I think it'll be the Decentraland that'll take it, and for a lot of reasons, because Facebook is too
Facebooky,
too centralized, too Facebooky.
Yeah, it's real corporate kind of.
Corporate,
too centralized. You know what I mean? Like in Decentraland, you're not going to get, your page blocked or something like that. You know.
So the only worry that I have is that Decentraland is hosted on like an AWS, you know, and that if it gets too big, Bezos just goes. Poof.
What does AWS mean?
Amazon's server warehouse or server farms.
Really?
So everybody thinks Jeff Bezos is so rich from Amazon. He's rich from his server farms that he has.
Well, and
he hosts like basically the internet for like the.
There are extreme amount of crypto projects that do use AWS, but over time that's going to change too, because the name of the game with everybody building in the space is to become as much decentralized as possible. And the more people that take their US dollars that are later to the game, put their money into space, the more money we have to go build with.
Which is why
You know what I mean?
projects like what's that one with the communication routers is interesting to me.
Helium.
Helium. That's why helium is so interesting.
I was just gonna ask you about that because I heard that is like a decentralized blockchain in itself.
It's a decentralized internet, and they're working on making like a 5G, like a decentralized 5G network. And basically, they pay you in helium tokens for having the router at your house. I mean, that's what I understand it. We just kind of realized we delved into this maybe
I've jumped into it quite a bit. So you can buy as many mining rigs as you want to, because it takes 4 of them to communicate to facilitate, whatever it does. And so, it can be used for lots of different types of things. So it is very similar to like, buying a mining rig, except for it takes very little to no power at all. You know what I mean? And so, it's designed as like a communication type, mining platform that generates, payback to its users, for mining. But, the concept of it is really neat because, say, for example, a cell phone, 2 cell phone towers go out nearby. Now we don't have any communications, right, for cell phones. But with helium, like if you look on the map here in Boise, there's probably hundreds of them here from what I've seen. The only ones there aren't is right at our shop.
Yep.
So they all link together. So you have this whole situation. So, okay, so power goes out, or, somebody didn't pay their power bill nearby or whatever. You still have communication, that type of thing. So you have, these pockets that could go down, but yet you still have communication across the network versus if you lose, XYZ, you could have an issue. So that's definitely growing. But just like any other type of mining, there will be some sort of a peak when everything's covered and that's it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kind of scenario. So once again, it's timing.
Get in early or miss the boat, right?
But it's definitely a neat concept if anybody's looking into helium. I've looked at it. I think it's a good idea. The equipment is a little expensive depending upon which ones you get, especially if you want higher payout. If you want a higher payout, you're going to pay more because there's like 30 different machines. They're all based upon different types of things that they do, and the more the machine does, the higher you pay and the more money you pay.
Some of them are confirmation nodes for like warehouses for like RFIDs, right? It tracks like shipments going in and out of your warehouse with RFIDs on the Helium network. As far as
and that's a tool for businesses.
Yeah, it's a tool for businesses. Tool. Yeah.
Yep.
So
it has multiple uses on the network.
It's got a lot of different uses.
Great concept, though.
Yeah.
Great concept.
Yeah, it's a great idea, but that helps us also move, further down the decentralized path of keeping control of our own stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with this stuff, this stuff is fascinating to me. I don't know about you guys, but
absolutely,
this is pretty fascinating. So, I don't know. I feel like I learned a lot because this gave me a bit of a history lesson. It also kind of told me where things are at, and then some of the direction that this stuff is going in the future. And I'm glad I met you guys. I'm glad I put out whatever post I put out, and Alex, you reached out because I'm definitely going to have a lot more questions for you guys moving forward.
And the space is going to change, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to do another one of these because a month from now I'll have
400 more questions.
Yeah.
I can promise you this. At least one of you tonight will be laying in bed before you go to sleep thinking about crypto. I promise you.
Oh, dude, that's me almost every night right now.
And the other thing too, guys, is we literally didn't even touch on a single, this topic could go on for we could talk about this for probably an eternity, and then the space continues to evolve, so the conversation just kind of keeps going. But we really didn't touch too much on DAOs. We didn't touch too much on DeFi. We didn't touch too much on decentralized apps. And we also really didn't talk too much about how whales manipulate the market with their huge bags of coins. But I will tell you one thing, and I do want to say this. So it is a statistic that anybody that has held Bitcoin for at least 200 weeks has never lost. So if you make sure that you have diamond hands when you buy, just know that you're buying and you're going to hold for a while, right? The people that buy, that takes a dip, they freak out, they sell. You only lose when you sell.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Got
Hold
it.
for at least 200 weeks and you're almost guaranteed to have a profit. Nothing's guaranteed in life except for, death and taxes.
Sure.
But,
But maybe
even those
one day
taxes,
we'll get away from taxes.
even those
though.
taxes
Yeah.
might around a little bit, Not saying I do that.
If blockchain solves that one problem, that's 50% problem we solved.
Right.
Yeah, then the next thing we got to solve is just
Well,
death.
I was going to say, eventually we'll just upload our consciousnesses to the metaverse, and then there's no death and there's no taxes.
Yeah,
They
problem
say that
solved.
Stephen Hawking,
Decentraland.
they say that
Upload
Stephen
your-
Hawking's consciousness got downloaded before he passed away. And maybe with Neuralink, they'll be able to do stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
Buy it as an
Come-
NFT.
Yeah.
And then
You don't have an NFT.
Wearable.
You can't continue
Yeah.
on.
Come to my
The
house
other-
party on Decentraland.
yeah. So the other thing that NFTs are moving into is also this augmented reality as well, with like Apple glasses and Google glasses. So like Nike in their effort to do NFTs just bought this big NFT sticker company, or no, this NFT shoe company. I don't know why it's sticker on the mind. But basically what's going to happen is you're going to have your augmented glasses on, and Chris, let's say you have an NFT Rolex, right? When I look at you, I'm going to see that NFT Rolex on your watch, on your wrist. If I take my glasses off, it's not there anymore. But I put my glasses on, I can see that wearable that you have. Or if you want to wear like a cool fitted hat, or if you want to have like, some statement on your shirt or whatever.
that scares me.
That's all part of the augmented reality. And they even have contact lenses now. They have a technology with contact lenses that they have the augmented reality in the lens that you put on your eye. So like you don't even have to have glasses on. Like your next turn coming up is going to look like a heads up display in your eyes. Like you'll just see like it'll be connected with your Neuralink in your head, and I'm putting my tinfoil hat back on.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what I want. I want the Terminator 2 contact lenses, so I look at Chris and I get a full... that's what I'm waiting on.
Hey, it's coming. It's coming, guys. I think it's scarier than hell. But it's...
I mean, it's the same thing as like, I don't know if you guys have seen Ready Player One.
Yeah.
The movie. I mean, fast forward where we're at right now,
There.
we need to make some changes, otherwise it's going to be kind of ugly like that. But
Yep.
we're already there. Like they're playing in a decentralized metaverse basically at that point, and we're close. We have everything to make it happen.
Yeah, apparently they got some haptic suits and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff's just going to keep getting better and better.
Yep.
So I think that I mean, I'm not going to tie this statement to you guys. This is just personally what I believe, but probably the two main areas I think that stuff will like advance the most is going to be like porn and the military. Yeah. I think that those are probably going to be the two people that figure that out the best.
Yeah.
The first one you can kind of figure out why, and then the second one is that thing that you said with like the contact lenses and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be able to like kind of like probably like Call of Duty almost. Like it'll be synced up to the magazine in your gun. You'll know exactly how many bullets that you've fired. If the gun's close to overheating. Like how many rounds it's fired and what percentage of like decay it has until you need to like swap out parts, and like if there's a jam.
You can see where all your other combatants are and where your teammates are on the map and the eye in front of you, so you're not shooting at your teammates.
Yeah. Next thing you know, you're gonna have energy swords and all this shit.
Hey, look, if we've learned anything, if a sci-fi guy can dream it up, a science guy can design it and build it.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think there's been anything that somebody has dreamed up that we haven't at least come close to figuring out how to do it. I mean, we've even figured out how to slow down the speed of light. Okay. So, and that thing that they got going on with that Great Hadron Collider scares me to death. I'm afraid that they're going to just put a antimatter, and that's going to be the end of it,
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you have literally no idea what it's just about. Where is that in France?
I think it's in Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland or something.
Yeah. Even worse. I mean, it's like a bunch of people that are like, I don't know, could
Maybe
be former Nazis. Who knows? You never know where these people go. Yeah, we're going to just smash a couple of things together and we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Circle in the drain.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, I'm glad we can all put our tinfoil hats on together. I'm glad we're in good company here with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, all right, cool, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. This helped a lot. This is kind of the third podcast we've done in a row that's centered around crypto, and it's just each time the picture kind of gets more and more clear. So I'm looking forward to continuing this conversation with you guys, and yeah, I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person when you come down here, and I'll probably hijack that conversation and talk to you about crypto when you're down here too.
Nice. Yeah. So for the listeners, feel free to go to our YouTube channel. It's Idaho Crypto Group. There's a lot of really good resources on there. Show you how to set up Coinbase wallets, and Ryan's the face behind all that. Does all the editing, spends countless hours of putting all that content together. But there's really good stuff in there for your viewers. And if Chris, if you would include a link to that in the description down below.
Sure.
And for Chris's listeners, hit that subscribe button to keep listening to these podcasts.
Yeah, and stop by our website too, idahocryptogroup.com. And then for you techie guys that are like on Discord and stuff like that, we do have a Discord as well. So jump in there.
Yep.
We're going to start doing some more Twitch, when we're playing in the Decentraland and stuff like that. So we expect to be able to meet some more people there as well. So we've got lots of different ways to connect. So we love to be able to connect with everybody.
And if anybody's here in Idaho, Sticker Status, which is the building that we're at, which is the vehicle wraps and paint protection, ceramic coatings. We accept cryptocurrency for those services: Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Litecoin. I mean, we're really whatever cryptos.
Yeah, whatever crypto you got, and we've got quite a few other businesses here in town that we've networked with that also accept Bitcoin, including 2 car dealerships as well. So if you want to liquidate some crypto for some cars, so that's part of what we like to do as well, is be able to help other businesses start to accept it. And to be able to make sure they're able to adapt onto the blockchain as well, because there's a massive benefit for business owners to accept crypto.
Yeah.
For one, there's no chargebacks issues, so you don't have to worry about that. And transaction fees, the customer pays versus the business doesn't have to pay the credit card transaction fees anymore. So those 2 things makes it ideal for business owners to accept it.
Yep. Yeah. So if you're a business owner and you're looking to figure out how you make it easier for your customers to buy from you, go down to Idaho Crypto Group, get in touch with us. We'll set up some consultations and help you get your business set up to be able to accept crypto.
Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
It was great meeting all you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you, Chris. See you guys.
See ya. All right, cool. Let me get out of this full screen.
Yeah, that was cool. That was interesting.
Dude,
Hell yeah.
mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, we're still technically live, guys.
Oh, Ashley texted me and said she tried watching live but couldn't understand a thing they were saying, like wrap her head around it.
Oh. Yeah.
So that makes sense. I couldn't either, and I was here.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as I'm learning all this shit, but it's starting to make more sense. Like, it's cool learning about this, and then like talking to somebody like this who can give a little bit more context, and like I'm starting to understand.
Dude, I think that I understand more. I'm like, oh, like I started reading this NFT book, and I'm like, oh yeah, dude, I know where I'm going with this. I know what I'm doing now. And then you hear from these guys, I'm like, never mind. I don't know anything.
I was gonna say it's nice. I'm still on the ground floor. Obviously, I'm absolutely gonna go check out their YouTube.
Yeah,
knowledge is just brimming. I'm ready to learn. It didn't take much.
So I think what we learned at the end of this is that I don't have COVID. I think that's pretty clear.
You actually look like you have less COVID than when we started this.
Mm-hmm.
Do I?
Doesn't he look a little bit better?
Yeah, it does. Well, let's look on this. Oh God.
Talking about crypto.
Ooh, not great. A little shine there.
I got a little shine too.
Talking about crypto reduces the symptoms of COVID-19.
I'm trying to get a blizzard up here. Me and Fauci, little fucking Fauci, we're gonna set up a fucking blizzard in here.
Sweating here and stuff.
I was gonna say, I think it's the lights, right? It's gotta be, right?
It's not the lights.
It's not the lights. There are no lights.
It's the COVID, okay?
Okay.
It's a blizzard.
Well, I'm sweating.
You can't have a fucking blizzard. It's Florida. What the fuck you talking about, Fauci, with the blizzard? We're in Florida. What is he talking about? Camera's on you now.
Oh, boy. I feel like a little kid in these chairs because my legs just swing back and forth.
Little dangling.
Yeah.
Ah, dude, that was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Very.
what else you got? Dude, you're getting married soon?
Yeah.
Congrats, dude.
Appreciate it. In a month to the day tomorrow. So.
And it's not the same day as the Super Bowl, right?
It's actually the same day as the Super Bowl. Funny you mentioned that. Also, watch the Pepsi halftime show, and Pepsi, come sponsor our friends over at the Idaho Crypto Group.
Yes.
That's my plug.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Smooth.
Yeah, man. I feel like I want to drink some Pepsi right now that you said that.
I could go for a refreshing Pepsi, the drink choice of the NFL.
Wow, that sounds fantastic.
It does.
I don't know, guys. I think I'm kind of running out of steam. I thought that after this I'd be real loose, but I'm kind of going downhill fast here.
Yeah, it's okay, man. I can see the little glimmer in your eye.
There's still some life, some hope.
Barely
a little bit
left.
Well, what do you guys think? Should we wrap this thing up?
I have nothing pressing.
I have nothing pressing either. You just mentioned I'm getting married, and that's the only thing that I have going on in my life.
That is pressing, dude. Don't let Ashley say that it's not pressing.
Oh, I know. Ashley, if you're watching, it's very pressing.
It is the most pressing thing.
It's not depressing.
No,
it's just pressing.
Pressing, yes.
Pressing.
Cut that out.
All right, guys.
All right,
Thank you
boys.
very much. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I'd like to do this again. This was a good time.
Yeah, this was cool.
Yeah. Even though I just sit here and listen to people talk over my head, I'm cool with that too. Pretty much what I do on a regular basis, except I get to sit around two other people now that I know.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of doing the same thing. It's just being here with you guys and like being one, and then other people come in.
Chris
and
just
maybe
likes
others.
Chris just wants people to hear him talk, so that's what we're here for.
Honestly, dude, I'm listening back to these and I say like way too much, and that's a problem.
Oh, I go yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see what my tick is in this. And I can already tell I've been moving too much, but I'm still blaming these chairs, man. Also, my shoes tied too tight. There's just a litany of issues.
You're also 7 feet tall, so you can touch the ground.
Yeah, but that's part of the problem. I have bad posture too. So if I sit up like this,
I
sit up like this, I'd look like a jackass, a bigger jackass.
A taller jackass.
But you can see my other sponsor, the China On Podcast, brought to you by Pepsi and Golden Tee Golf.
Oh, fuck. Thank you. Is that an NFT?
This is a non-fungible T-shirt that I'm wearing.
Did you get that because you got the high score on Golden Tee?
No, my brother's girlfriend bought this for me for Christmas because she saw us play Golden Tee a couple times, and she was like, you know what, that looks like a guy who would like to wear something to represent something he's really bad at.
Yeah.
That's why I have this and why I'm wearing it. It's very comfortable. Shout out to
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts brand T-shirts.
Dude, you got some NFTs under that NFT.
Yeah,
I got
Cloud
some.
NFT, a Sky NFT.
You got some nice fucking titties.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've got some non-frickable titties,
Ooh.
but your call.
Well, I wouldn't say non-frickable, if you know what I mean.
Are they? Is it? Okay, good. Kids aren't watching anymore. We can say whatever the hell we want now. This is the whatever the hell we want. This is the adult hour now.
Nice freaking titties, dude.
Getting a little flustered. It isn't. You're right. It's not the lights. It's just you.
Hey, show me that GTG. I got a GTG. Those NFTs right there.
Got to.
You're gonna Golden Tee Golf my nice fucking titties.
Nice freaking titties, dude.
Sorry. Kids are listening again. It's my fault.
I gotta see your mom's NFTs, dude.
You keep this up, you're gonna be hearing from the FCC, and that's who you don't want to hear from.
I'm looking for that FTC, dude.
What?
Fully tittable coin.
I just sunk all my money into the FTC.
Dude, I'm looking for the FTC, dude.
Should we make a coin? He said we could. We don't have to make it on Ethereum. We can make it on a super cheap one, right?
Dude,
it's not going to be worth anything, but that's what art
with
is.
that mindset, it's not going to be worth anything. The NFT is going to be the next big thing.
Just create a coin, just NFT.
Yeah, because it's just like an NFT represents something, the NFT coin represents
NFT.
So
Yeah.
this is where the meta part comes in. It's a representation of a representation. We're getting deeper by actually getting more shallow.
Yeah, so I think the primary move is get Zuckerberg on board with the NFTs. It's going to be an SBR NFT of the NFT. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm tracking 100%.
Do you know SBR?
I don't know a thing we've said this entire time.
A little Sweet Baby Ray NFT.
Oh. Sweet Baby Rays. Thank you to our sponsor, Sweet Baby Rays as well. We're going to get one of these eventually.
Thank you, Sweet Baby Rays, for sponsoring the China On podcast. Go to your local Publix and get it before it's sold out.
Yeah, I like that.
Actually, you should get it before all the food on the shelf seems to not be showing up anymore.
Right now at Publix, there's no Gatorade. At least
Really?
the one by me.
That's the problem in this country.
There hasn't been Gatorade for weeks.
You know who's behind it? George Soros, I heard.
He's drinking all the Gatorade.
he's drinking the Kool-Aid, and I think they started making Gatorade out of Kool-Aid.
The metaverse is
What is happening?
Is Jonestown? Is that what you're telling me? And I'm gonna drink the the cool Gatorade.
Gator Ale, I think, is gonna be in the metaverse.
Ginger ale and Gatorade mixed together.
Ooh, actually,
Might be okay.
I don't think I want the carbonation in my Gatorade. I think that's what makes Gatorade nice. Is that you get the feeling of water without the carbonation.
Just a ton of sugar.
Yeah, that's why I like it. Because I had a Perrier earlier today, and I was like, this is just carbonated water. I don't like it as much as a water, but it was good.
I like carbonated water.
I like to separate my. I think a water is a like a more solid liquid. It's a little more viscous than a carbonated water.
yeah,
right.
I actually
A little bit
do
more
know
thickness
what
to
you're
it.
talking about.
Yeah,
I thought that what you just said was really stupid.
You're
and
right.
Now I actually am following, because if you have like one of those ahas or something like that,
They feel a little lighter.
yeah, you drink it and it's like
Yeah,
thoughts.
exactly. And then you take a sip of water, and it's almost
Just
like
what I said.
take water, and it's like. Whereas the aha's like.
What does it sound like when you eat pastries?
Paste. I eat paste all the time, and this is what I said. This is what I sound like now, as a result.
I eat a lot of paste, and now I found myself on a podcast in Bonita Springs.
Just how it works. I found myself in worse places.
You want to follow the universe? We're talking metaverse now.
I wanted to get into the Matrix with them, but I don't think we had enough time in the day.
I knew some guy that made a Matrix coin.
Dude,
like
we
they
are
minted.
in the Matrix. Go ahead, Chris.
Say that one more time for the camera.
We are in the Matrix.
So I know a guy. Shut up. I know a guy that I know a guy that made a Matrix coin. It was like a for the release of the movie, we made this Matrix coin.
Shut up.
Hey.
Go ahead.
So did you buy in a Matrix coin?
We are in the Matrix. It's the only coins we use here.
Oh fuck. But dude, I heard that and I was like,
Yeah.
this sounds like a terrible idea. They made another one called the Holy Bible. It's the Holy Bible coin.
Just
Who made this?
God. You're not paying attention. It's the Bible. Same guy that wrote it.
Yeah, you freaking idiot, dude. Shut up, dude. Fuck it. Who wrote the Bible?
I
Dude,
came.
who minted the Bible
I came
coin?
here tonight on Wednesday to get roasted extra crispy. Thank you guys.
Dude, this feels like a Krispy Kreme in here with how much you're getting fucking
Dude,
wrote
I'm
the Bible, dude. Are you kidding?
I'm sweating bad.
It's fucking the COVID blizzard. It's a hot blizzard. It's like global warming all over again. It's really hot.
Just
here
so our
during the
listeners
blizzard.
know, me and Ryan came in here and we sat down and Chris says, "Oh, by the way, I have COVID."
That is fucking bullshit.
100% true. And I said, "Dude, I can't believe you would do this to us." Coughed all over everything.
I was going to say, he didn't say it. He looked at us directly, pulled us close together in a warm embrace and a huddle, and coughed directly into our faces.
"Hey guys, I have COVID."
Just like that.
I'm so upset.
So this is Omicron.
We're in the Omicron matrix.
Omniverse.
Dude,
Omniverse.
I don't have COVID. I went to a hardcore festival that was inside with hundreds of people moshing and yelling
with hardcore
and
COVID,
sweating, and they were very tired, as I was. And it was in a Jewish community center in Tampa. And, well, there is no way that I or anybody else in there got COVID or has COVID.
Is that because of the location? It was in the JCC?
It's in the JCC, and I think that there's a protection that comes with that.
JCC, NFT. That's what we can do. We have an NFT on the entire Jewish community center.
Fuck, dude.
I don't want to talk about controlling a specific religion or people, because we're going backwards to the point you just made about Switzerland and the old Nazis. We'll cut that out.
nothing gets cut out.
Well, of course we're live. Live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Fuck. But yeah,
Did your voice just?
yeah. But we can make an NFT of the JCC, I think.
Cool.
Back to being over my head again. I don't get it still. I don't get it.
So yeah, I think the Blizzard's an overreaction. I think you guys are just a bunch of MSNBC watchers, I think, is what it's coming down to.
MSNBC NFT?
CNN NFT?
I don't think it can have that many letters. Dude, this could be the way that MSNBC gets knocked out of the future, is it's too many letters for an NFT. I think you can only have
MSNBC
3.
NFT. Yeah.
So, I don't know. We could be... Let's get Rachel Maddow on the Zoom, and let's see what she comes up with.
What does MSN stand for?
Believe it or not, it's Microsoft News Network. Broadcasting channel or something.
Company.
Broadcasting company.
Oh, shoot.
Well,
Fucking Bill Gates, dude.
Oh my god. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
We've made
369. You know those numbers? You ever heard of those numbers?
Mafia?
No,
that's 3-6 Mafia.
That's just the 3-6, dude.
Oh, that's right.
God, you're fucking ruining the show. We had an hour and 40 minutes.
It's been derailed. I
Sorry,
can't believe
boys.
we're going to have to delete the whole episode.
We're deleting this whole episode, and you're gonna have to fucking talk to the Idaho Crypto Group and let them know that you fucking ruined this.
Sorry, boys. Ruined the episode. Wouldn't be the first time. I could have knocked my coffee all over everything.
Yeah, Matt has knocked his coffee all over.
Dude.
One time I made a joke on this very second episode, and then he calls me later and he goes, "Hey, I don't think that we should put that on." I was like, it wasn't really bad at all. Like
I don't
literally
care what's
nothing
going
said it, and you didn't even say it. I said it, and it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
that bad. And he's like, literally at all. It was like, if you said that out in public and you like shouted it, people would have been like, just like, why is this guy shouting? Nobody would have thought of what he said, but he calls me and goes, "I am so scared of what is going to happen to me if this goes out because I did a little
Listen,
thing."
it was the beginning of us doing this.
fair.
I'll tell you, you would have done the same thing.
Off
Brian.
air. Off air.
Yeah.
Or we can just cut it.
No, I'll tell you.
Yeah, dude, we're off air now.
I was talking about spilling my water.
I think the nice thing is he's worried about his footprint here in the real world, but you just go to the metaverse and no one's going to remember what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but except when you make all
metaverse?
these enemies in the real world and you're in the metaverse and you got somebody comes up to you behind you in your house.
In the metaverse.
Yeah, no, in the real life, somebody puts a gun to your head and says, "Matt, God wrote the Bible." And
A lot of hypotheticals going on tonight.
Well, it's the metaverse. I mean,
dude.
what is real?
You
That's
guys
a
don't know
Matrix
this,
quote too.
but we've been in the metaverse for the last 30 minutes. There's a little button under the table here. I just
actually, the way that you kind of made that sound kind of
I
made
thought it was
seem
real at
like,
first. I
yeah.
thought there was some actual clicking noise being made.
I'll turn it off.
Okay, thanks.
Oh,
That
fuck,
one didn't
dude.
sound as real.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move to Kazakhstan and do some Bitcoin mining. Actually, I
No,
think
thank you.
Kazakhstan is probably the spot to not be anymore.
Yeah, they've been having some issues.
Yeah, because apparently China shut down Bitcoin mining. They made it illegal, so
Yeah.
people moved to Kazakhstan, and then
They try to make all crypto illegal,
in China.
right? Yeah.
In China.
In China.
What?
Nothing. I'm just.
Look, Ryan, if you're gonna come in the show and you're gonna say all these things and say I love Rachel Maddow, I want the NFT, the MSNBC NFT, well, it can't work. Okay.
Fine.
I trailed off there.
For a guy that
it's
has
got
COVID,
shit.
he's actually got a lot of energy.
I agree.
Dude, I'm in the fucking I'm Wim Hofing this blizzard, this COVID blizzard right now. I am cold, dude.
It's tripping me out that it's lagging so bad up here.
What do you mean, dude? You're not seeing that.
Let's pause.
Whoa. Dude, that is the metaverse.
That's the
right
metaverse,
there.
yeah.
Dude, I think Zuckerberg is watching this right now. Dude, whoever finds this episode at the end is going to be like, what the fuck's wrong
You know
with
what's funny? They mentioned tinfoil hats, and I legitimately wanted to come in wearing one and just make some reference about how they're listening.
I think
And I'm trying to protect myself so my metaverse consciousness will be safe.
I think we should actually do it when we come in wearing those. I think that's a great idea.
That is a
I would
good
love to.
idea.
If you guys want to talk about like conspiracy theories, I'll come in wearing a tinfoil hat, and we can just sit here for, I don't know, an infinite number of. Does time exist in the metaverse? That's what I should have asked him.
No, I think that's the fourth dimension, and we're looking, metaverse, we're looking at 30, 40, 50 dimensions.
At least. Minimum.
Dude, I hear that there's like upwards of, like 30, 40,
Minimum.
50 dimensions, but only in the metaverse.
That's what I'm trying to make the 50D NFT.
Oh, fuck, dude.
I'm in the 50th dimension.
Yo, I manifest into the 50th dimension.
I'm telling you, I texted you this on the way over that I've been listening to these like things with like 430 hertz of output just coming. It's supposed to help. If you go on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. We've talked about this before.
Really?
In like an actual and a serious thing we really have. You can put it in both your headphones, and then it's supposed to like level you out. There's some like hertz that can help you with
Vibrations and all that stuff,
vibrations.
right?
Yeah, help you relax, help you wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is if you go look at the thumbnails, that's almost more fun than listening to it because they're real interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's what calms me down.
Dude,
that's how you get to the 50D.
Yeah, actually, that's the method through. You go on Coinbase, you download your consciousness into an online server, but then you pull it off into your hardware wallet, and then you just downloaded probably anywhere from like 15 to 20 dimensions into your wallet. I think that's. I'm sorry I got like pretty technical with that, but I think that's kind of the.
As a beginner, that was a little over my head. If you could dial down the number of dimensions, I could probably grasp it.
So if you kind of like somewhere between 40 3D 3D3 and then like 13 to 14D 3D 343,
that's where I'm trying to exist.
You're looking at a lot of return on investment, dude. Look at Matt's face right now. Dude, you look like you can't see anything. You almost look like you're in like a blizzard of some sort.
I feel like I'm in one. Are you warm?
I'm a little bit, but Chris has already confirmed it's not the light, so it might just be in my own head.
It might just be COVID, dude.
I say before we sign out, pull up like a 400 millihertz. Let's sign out on that.
What are we looking at for 432 hertz?
You can type in any number. You can literally type in any number you want, and that number of hertz for some reason exists.
Let's throw this computer up here. Oh my God, what is this?
A miracle. You do that one. Raise positive vibrations.
Well, that's the thing is anything you want, you just type in.
Anything you want, you got.
A very strange day is coming to America. In short, a massive,
Mark Chaikin, dude,
Wall Street
legend.
What's
dude?
Leaving 99% of
All right, never mind. We can watch that.
Dude,
ignore me.
I'm
Skip
fucking.
this ad, but I can promise you, what's coming next to America could change everything you know about making money. If you own regular stocks, you're in for a big surprise. I spent 50 years on Wall Street, where I helped create the entire stock rating system. I've met everyone from Jim Cramer to Martha Stewart, but for the first time,
Dude, this guy was doing some inside trading.
Not for the Wall Street elite.
Thanks for self-indicting yourself.
Yeah,
Martha Stewart did all those deals.
I know Martha Stewart real well.
Right side of the huge new shift I predict is coming to the market. You absolutely.
All right.
China On Podcast brought to you by Investing Outlook.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you,
Rodkin.
Martha Stewart.
China On Podcast brought to you by Martha Stewart. Let's take a look at these positive vibrations. Thank you.
Is this it?
No, I don't look at the ones with the real worlds. I'm more, if you scroll down to the related stuff,
Are these?
It's 6:38 now a.m. now, and I'm drinking my coffee less than this frequency. Today is going to be a wonderful day. God bless everyone. You know who made the fucking Bible, Matt? God. Okay, you friggin' idiot.
Have you learned anything?
Why are you guys yelling at me?
Yeah, NFTs, dude.
NFT this.
NFTs these nuts. All right, what are we
That
looking
is nice. It sounds. It's soothing.
Oh, dude, there we go.
Well, you can type in any, like it said, literally any number you want, or I don't know. What do you want? Type in like a.
Dude, this is gonna blow our brains out.
420 69 hertz. Crypto scams are getting out of hand.
That top one says that it cures cancer. This one says cures cancer.
Fuck, I was hoping for some investment advice, dude.
Can you look for a COVID cure hertz as well?
Turn it up extra loud, extra crispy.
Yeah, this thing is putting a block on my ears on how loud this can go.
It's really hard for me to talk about yelling. This is nice because it cleanses your sins as well.
Fuck, dude. Oh shit, this does cleanse sins, dude.
It's in the description. It's in the product description.
Yo, this is
they're giving
nice.
this. They're giving this away for free.
This is free.
Cancer cured. The house is free.
House is free, Jim.
Your cancer's getting cured. Your sins are getting cleansed for free.
If there wasn't two dingleberries yelling in my ear, then it would be nice.
Hey, this is fucking free, okay? I don't need you coming in here and ruin my 420 hertz.
Welcome to the cleanse.
I'm trying to alpha deep heal, okay? God, we fucking do that. We fucking do this all the time. I come in here.
Can you believe only 25 people have taken advantage of this free healthcare?
I can't believe that. 0 upvotes on Reddit. Yo, let's blow this shit up, dude. 420 hertz. Dude, I think actually now that you mentioned it, this could be the alternate. This might be what Trump was talking about with repealing Obamacare and then putting something in place.
Can you actually find a hertz that will repeal any Obamacare payments that I might have made in taxes, etc.?
Yeah, dude. I think this is one of those incentives that you can listen to that when you actually take part in this, kind of like working out and things, they'll give you like credit towards your health insurance. So if you listen to like, I don't know, let's say 6 hours of 420 hertz music every day, like I think you're.
I mean, I don't want to knock your theory here, but 6 hours it's not much. I mean, if you look at some of these videos, they're 12, 24 hours long. 6 hours, you're just scratching the surface. You're doing yourself that's why there's only 25 views.
There's only 2 hours.
This is the Obamacare of cancer cures right here. It's 2 hours long.
Fuck, dude.
I don't want some discount cut rate.
I don't want the surface of my sins cleansed, you know?
Right. I need a deep cleanse and a deep cleanse. I want my sins cleansed and removed, not just polished.
If you listen to 6 hours of this, you get an NFT at the end of it.
Oh, fuck, dude. I'm in.
This person literally went on a keyboard, made 3 notes, and then looped it for 2 hours.
They put a brick down and just said, okay, this will cure my cancer.
Dude, I don't know what's going on. Do you guys feel healed? Actually, believe it or not, I did talk to somebody who's like pretty smart person and like own a business and all this stuff about podcasts and helping them with podcasts and stuff. And we ended up talking about like frequencies and shit. And she said like everybody at their office was in a bad mood for like months. And then they were like, why? And they look over and there's like a huge cell tower like right there. And she said that like putting in like speakers that play whatever hertz, like 432, whatever the fucking hertz is, she said like everybody is in like a noticeably better mood.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's a wild stuff. I would like to like see like a study on it.
See, I used to get annoyed when people played music in the office, so I feel like I'd be in a worse mood if I had to listen to this.
Yeah, but it's curing your cancer. It's cleansing your sins, though. That's the problem.
It's just not a fair trade-off. I mean, that cleansing my sins, it's more of a long-term problem, and I'm annoyed right now. I'm not worried about retribution for my sins anytime soon.
Dude, how are you going to get to minimum 6 hours a day and bring your Obamacare payment down to, I don't know, $750 a month? Like, if you're not listening to this 6 hours a day, how are you? What's your plan to do that?
It's a good point.
You
That's a really
tuned
good
in
point.
for crypto advice, and now we're listening to sounds.
Dude, this is going to cure your fucking crypto ailments.
I'm curious. Can you just type in? I want almost anything. If you have any idea or something, for example, cures cancer, cleanses sins. Let me get something random in there and just type in HZ at the end. Well, not cleanses sin specific. I'm talking about something that's.
We're looking up cleanses sins.
We're already 3 minutes into getting.
I'm curious. You know what? Actually, I told you this before, Chris, too.
Music to kill cancer cells. Oh, ASMR.
On like a more serious note, though.
Yeah.
Sorry to take this to a serious place.
Oh, it's okay.
But I had a buddy of mine back in Indiana, and I think it was his grandfather or his grandmother. They had sepsis in the hospital, and somebody had recommended. They're like, "Why are you laughing? This is serious." And damn it. And they were like not going to make it, and they're like, hey, if you play some music from their past, it might kind of knock them out of it. And lo and behold, it did.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, what did they play?
I don't know. Just whatever music that they were accustomed to when they were younger, and it like brought them out of the state, and they healed.
Whoa.
So they played like some oldies music, and it kind of brought those brain waves back, and that part of your brain that responds to music.
Yeah, it was
serotonin release or something like that.
It was a mix of 311's worst songs.
Fuck, dude. That'll wake you up.
The whole discography.
Fuck, man. Dude, you know what it was? It was probably corn, actually. I think the grandpa was into corn.
That freak was trying to get off his leash.
Yeah.
Can you say that one more time?
That freak was trying to get
just like you said it.
Off his leash.
Oh my god, dude, that's fucking edgy.
Can you type in how many hertz it takes to get off a leash as a freak?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna derail this here. You dabbled in music and etc. We're talking about frequencies and all this.
Dude, this is actually what we're looking for. How many frequencies? How many frequencies can be on a leash, dude? Let's check this out. Yeah, I mean, you could have 100-foot dog leash. That is possible.
Can you pull up the brown note while we're all in here? Because
yeah,
this might be a byproduct of listening to the frequencies. I think it's actually stopped me up. So if we can listen to the brown note for, I don't know.
Warning, real brown note. All right, thank you, Random Sauce.
What is this?
It's the brown note, dude.
Gun owners know that total concealment of your firearm is a tactical advantage.
Oh fuck, dude! This is actually what's happening. Is you're going in and you shit your pants when somebody comes in, but this is the way to not shit your pants.
We've made it our.
What you're about to hear is called the brown note. This particular frequency is known to make people have sudden bowel movements. Please be careful when listening to this and make sure a toilet is readily available. You've been warned. All right, people, you've been warned. This is the brown note coming. I apologize to. I apologize to the Idaho Crypto Group for having this associated.
I was about to say the same exact thing.
I actually learned a ton from them, and I'm glad we had them on. And I'm definitely hoping we can have them back on, and I'm hoping that this brown note is not really going to destroy that. But I had a lot of fun. Yeah. This is what decentralization is going to get you, honestly, is people like me playing brown notes into a...
It's kind of a calming frequency.
It's
not.
This sounds like the beginning of a Rush song.
I feel like I have anxiety.
Yeah, well, things are stirring up. You had that coffee before. I mean,
I'm sweating more, dude.
You're gonna poop. Dude, this is the real brown note or brown frequency.
Dude, who comes up with this bullshit?
Same guy that wrote the Bible, buddy. Where have you been?
Yeah, did you come up with frequencies?
Kind of does sound like a Rush song a little bit.
Today's time gets high on you. If it then gets high on poo. Dude, this is 6. Oh my god, dude. Look at these keywords on the side. Look at this.
Bowel
Not
movement.
clickbait, legit, true, bowel movement, poop, crap, shit, sudden warning, caution, 2017. Dude, this shit gets me going, dude. Jesse Tarter, if you're listening to this right now,
She gets stopped up.
I don't know. He's gonna be
Not anymore.
He's gonna be unstopped, dude. Jesse's gonna be unstoppable with this now, dude.
He'll be non-fungible.
Dude, I'm looking for some NFAs, dude. Non-fungible anus. That's just gonna happen when you got this brown out. Oh my Christ, dude.
It'll be plenty fungible. Don't you worry.
All right, I feel like I'm gonna die soon. So let's wrap this up. I'm gonna kind of play this out here.
Yeah, you should turn it off.
Oh boy, God, I gotta go.
Only one bathroom in this place.
No, there's 2.
Are there?
No, there's a women's bathroom, but nobody's
I'm not
here.
going to use that. It's illegal.
Hey, I mean, whatever you want to choose for today. I won't say nothing if you know what I mean.
There's going to
I'll
be
say something.
There will be a couple NFTs when we're done. A couple non-flushable toilets. After listening to that, that's for you.
Zinger.
Frick,
That's for you.
dude. What about some nice fat turds? Oh man.
Oh, we can. I feel like you're losing credibility having me on your show. I was gonna ask earlier if you had.
I wasn't sure what that was going to be. I wasn't sure what note
It
that
fit
was going
that
to be.
perfect, actually.
Yeah, I did.
Hey, nice.
Oh, this one's nice.
How many hertz is that?
That's this sound that you're hearing is anywhere between 420 to 69 hertz, somewhere millihertz, I think. So
That's why.
If you look at the spectrum, frequency spectrum, it's in the you're gonna have it's going to be in the hertz range between somewhere between 69 and 420 hertz, because when you have the low end rolling off on the spectrum analyzer, you're going to have a lot of different things that will come up. And
I'll tell you what. You mentioned.
I'll tell you what.
Tell you what. You mentioned that the person having the tower next to the office next to 5G tower, which is slowly melting all of us. You want to talk about some good vibrations? Marky Mark would put me in a good mood. His good vibrations, not these 432 hertz.
We can't play Marky Mark. Marky Mark is
Wahlberg?
very involved. Yeah, he's very involved in the metaverse, and we're in the metaverse right now, and we will get sued because we don't have the NFT for good vibrations, whatever it's called.
All right, cut that. Bart,
Feel
then.
it. Feel it.
Come on.
Come on. Pump it.
They don't say that.
Louder?
I don't know the song.
You know it. You know it.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Matt, Ryan, do you want to tell people about your most recent projects?
Nope.
Thanks for having me, Chris. It was a real pleasure. It really was. I had a good time. This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, this was
some
fun.
casual laughs. Very natural laughs too. I do want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Pepsi, the NFL and the Super Bowl halftime show, Golden Tee Golf, Hogwarts shirts.
Dude, and one thing I did want to mention now that we're on it is actually there's going to be an NFT minted for your wedding because it is Super Bowl adjacent. So we are going to be sponsoring.
How cool would that
We're going to
be?
be sponsoring the backdrop at the church for the reception when you guys come in and do that dance where like you're brought in like here's the archway of things like that. Yeah, we're going to have that. That's going to be sponsored by Pepsi. We'll be shooting out Pepsi t-shirts. We'll be shooting out Golden Tee golf t-shirts.
Cool. Actual bottles of Pepsi, they will hurt.
Yeah.
If
Well-
you could You could get like a real gift instead. That'd be cooler. But I get where you're coming from.
This is the gift that keeps on giving, because when it gets sold, actually, you're going to be able to get some of the royalties from the sale of it. So actually, this really is a gift that keeps on giving.
As long as I don't sell at a loss.
You're not buying anything. Thank you, Tom Brady.
We're in the metaverse again.
Oh, fuck, dude. Tom Brady. Oh, Teslas. Damn, dude. That's not looking good for you.
That'd be fine. That'd be good.
Not looking good for you.
No.
You going to sell a Tesla, or are you going to keep driving around a Kia Niro?
Maybe.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. All right, guys. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Chrissy.
Yep.
And thank you.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Chrissy.
Thank you, Matt.
Little Chris.
Thank Christopher.
Little Chris. Little Chrissy.
All right, smooches. I like it. Keep it going. Keep it going. Play us out. Play us out. Play us out. Play us out. Oh, shit, 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 shit. Fuck, 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 fuck. Nice. Well, we're going to have to take the audio from here because that audio.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, me too.